Welcome to Assemble AI. I'm Mac Goswami. Today, in this episode, we are going to talk about the future of AI policy, emerging challenges, and what comes next.
And I'm Sam Dey. Today we are looking ahead. AI moves so fast that by the time a law passes, the technology has evolved. So, what's coming next? In this episode, we are trying to dive deep into that.
How do you govern a technology that's fundamentally unpredictable and advancing exponentially? That's the challenge. You cannot keep up to the pace.
Yeah, exactly. So let's start with AGI, buzzword that's been going around in last couple of years. What does AGI means? Artificial General Intelligence means AI is going to behave like humans. AI systems that also not only match, but sometimes it's going to exceed human capabilities across the board, which Dr. Geoffrey Hinton, the godfather of AI, found it as a little bit alarming for humans because at some point of time, AI could be potentially exceed our human capabilities and become a superior intellect in the world.
Current regulations are designed to narrow AI specific
Mhm.
tasks.
Correct.
AGI breaks those frameworks. How do you classify a system that can do everything? What are the challenges to build uh, that capability, to build that principles surrounding it?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question because now we're still trying to figure out, what does it AI AGI mean? And I understand that it's more capable than humans, but can humans meaningfully oversee it? And that's the existential question that we should ask to ourselves. Like the current regs assume that human oversight is possible with sufficiently advanced AI that might not hold. What if AI is gonna just beat us in our own game? So, in your opinion, what do you think Mac, the regulators are doing here to address that concern?
I think, in my opinion, it has got mixed responses. UK has an AI Safety Institute for Frontier Risks. US has safety testing for powerful models, but no consensus on that what AGI governance should look like. Partly because there is no consensus, AGI is imminent because
Correct.
it is growing so rapidly and it's so fast and it's very fascinating.
Yeah. So let's shift to AI agents because for last couple of years, even in 2026, AI is going to be the game changer, especially in the AI realm, right? Here in Assemble AI, we're also building a lot of AI agents. I would definitely encourage our listeners to reach out to us to know more about what we're doing in the agentic AI space. Now, back to the topic. So if we shift to AI agents, systems that act autonomously and make decisions, who is liable when they cause harm? How do you make sure of that?
So, who to give the responsibility? It could be the developer or it could be the deployer. So, I would say it's rather user who set it to the motion. So, definitely there is no clear specific answer. So, we are seeing that, with this autonomous vehicles, but AI agents could operate in different markets, law,
Uh-huh.
structure, 24/7 across diversified domains. So, it's very challenging to answer that, like, who will be who will be liable for it. I mean,
Correct.
there is no such clear cut answer.
Yeah, I mean, that's the issue right now because we are getting into an uncharted territory, which human being never exposed to. So it's kind of hard to define who would be liable or what liability even would look like. It could be a mix of approaches, liability for high risk users, diligence standards for others, or probably new concepts like algorithmic liability or shared responsibility. I know for a fact that insurance companies are developing some AI liability products because at the end of the day, they need to make sure that they have some supporting pipeline in case things go south, right? Uh, But what about open source AI? I mean, over there also you're seeing some massive tension points. So what's your take on that, Mac?
I think there is a massive, a huge opportunity out there. I think open source drives innovation and democratizes access, but makes control harder. So, once a powerful model is released, you can't recall it, update it globally, or monitor those uses, right? So I would say, like, the opportunity is enormous, and I think it's, and it's actually boils down to the point that how we are going to implement it.
So, kind of like piggyback on what you just said. So, how do we enforce requirements or open source creators, right? Like, if someone fine tunes a model for harmful purposes, who is liable? I mean, this came up with Meta's Llama models that I think they had to retract the Llama models because it's showed some, exhibited some weird behavior. So question is that could this split AI into open and closed ecosystems that, we can't just go with open source AI approach for every official. Sometimes we do have to, like house the AI in a closed ecosystem so we could potentially monitor it closely with a human oversight.
Right, right. I think, in my opinion, that it's already happening.
Correct.
And I think, some of the companies keep models closed because it's easier to comply and maintain safety. But that concentrates the power in large companies. Safety versus democratization tension, right? So it's kind of challenging, that you also want to innovate, and at the same time you are trying to innovate with AI, and you are also measuring the safety concern. I mean, there will be always be a sweet spot, but we just need to make sure that sweet spot should be balanced out properly. I think that's the challenge. And most of the companies, they are struggling with that one right now.
Yeah. Now, just add to that, I don't want to you know, scare our listeners here, but we also wanted to bring up, I wanted to bring up the world of synthetic content and AI generated media as we started seeing a lot of concerns there and we seeing that how the Hollywood actors also went on public and started protesting about AI generated stuff. Because I feel like we are entering into a world where most online content might be AI generated, like current regulations mostly require disclosure, but that's hard to enforce at scale, especially with bad actors, right? And there are certain specific harms there. So how do we even navigate through that? Because like deepfake or misinformation and those kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you brought up as a very sensitive informations, and I think, and to all our listeners, actually, they should know about that as well. The main reason that, this needs to be discussed, because I know that in several of our earlier sessions, I think we got these questions multiple times. Like, what is the safety net that, whenever someone is creating an AI image or AI video? So, and in that sense, we definitely have a lot of harms, actually, for using AI in a negative way. Misinformation, deepfakes for fraud or politics, right? Synthetic identifies for scams, erosion of trust in media. So if we can't tell what's real, how do you even make informed decisions, right? So I don't think that, at least as of now, that there is a much solution to it. Only thing, uh, it's content provenance, watermarking, maybe cryptographic signatures, but
Yeah,
these.
maybe putting a disclaimer, photo disclaimer or something.
Absolutely. And but again, these require industry adoption and can be, circumvented, right? I mean, it's
Correct.
it's it's a cat and
There is
mouse
no
game.
protocol there. Yeah.
There's no protocol there, and it's very hard to. Is right now, even the internet content, like, which is coming even for the media channels, even for the news medium, a lot of Instagram and Facebook channels, is very hard to believe that which is real and which is fake. It's a kind of a cat and mouse game, a recurring cooperation across tech platforms, media, and government, right?
That's true. I mean, I just feel like we are entering into a phase where we probably have to train AI to help with regulation and compliance itself for its own AI generated machines. Like AI can monitor for bias, automate documentation, detect anomalies, interpret regulations. So as regulation gets complex and AI getting advanced, we probably almost need AI to comply with AI regulations, right? So I think that's probably the way to go to having that balance where we're just teaching that AI to be a good kid. So what do you think about that? I think that's the future probably we have to focus on.
Yeah, Sam, I completely resonate with that. I think it's more of continuous automated compliance monitoring, I would say, where systems constantly checked against regulations, automatically generating documentation, flagging issues before violations, and the risk The risk is the checkbox exercise without meaningful oversight, right? And is there any international cooperation? Of course, we can see in the global AI treaties, right?
Correct. Yeah, I
So
mean, that's true. Yeah, carry on, please.
yeah, and I think it seems like there is appetite, but even discussing with AI treaty calls for something like nuclear, but for AI, but like there are a lot of other geopolitical challenges, and these are also increasing nowadays. Countries have different values or risk tolerances and strategic interest.
Yeah, I mean, totally. I mean, for our listeners, these are like sensitive context, and this can impact our education system, mental health of human being, right? So we definitely expect stricter regulations. Concerned about AI chatbots offering mental health advice without oversight should not be done. AI tutors without validation, no go, and AI companies creating unhealthy attachment should be audited and monitored closely. So these are some sector specific rules should emerge in future to make sure we are putting together proper guardrails. And hopefully this will come more as more AI acts are getting passed through the governments. But if you could add one more thing to the regulatory landscape, what would it be? Ensure that it's going to tighten the screws for all these AI guardrails and regulations on these companies.
Yeah, I mean, I would say global early warning system for AI risk, right? I think, not a regulator, but a trusted scientific body monitoring capabilities, identifying emerging risks, providing evidence based advice, like CDC for AI, like WHO for health, World Health Organization,
Correct.
like maybe International Monetary Fund for, so these I'm thinking, I mean, it would be a robust public party participation. I would suggest that committee, international committee, there have at least most advanced nations, they will have their own representative, right? So I think there should be definitely an international regulations as well. And too much policy is made by experts and industry without input from affected communities is also not so good. So that's why that kind of international committee should be formed, that where each individual who representing their own countries, they will have their own inputs as well.
Yep. No, I think that's the balance we need to implement. Technically sound, democratically legitimate, adaptive, effective at preventing harm while enabling benefit of AI. And it would require ongoing work, not a one-time fix. AI policy will evolve as rapidly as AI itself. And I'm very optimistic about it that we will get through that. So that's going to be my final parting comment, and I'll pass it over to Mac to wrap up this episode.
Absolutely. So I think these episodes, we have covered already a lot of good topics. Is AI governance. That's one of the most critical thinking nowadays. We have covered AGI governance. What's the governance looks like in future? AI agents, open source, synthetic media, regulatory tech, global cooperation. So the through line is uncertainty, and we are governing unpredictable technology, right? So, and it requires humility, flexibility, ongoing dialogue, and participation as well. Now, also, it's not what I see exactly, like few of the companies, they are actually leading the frontier, but it's not just for it's one or two country show. I think it's like all of the countries, like who are using, who are implementing AI, who are the consumer of AI, they all should move forward, right? So everyone in the world has a stake in AI governance. So if you care about AI's impact, get involved, comment on regulations, join advocacy, talk to the representatives, right? So thanks for listening to Assemble AI. Keep questioning, keep learning. Subscribe to our channel Assemble AI, like our LinkedIn page, share our episode to your network. Thank you. See you next time.
Thank you.